Hey, I just wanted to do a quick review of the Healy device from a practitioner's standpoint. Um, been using it a couple weeks. I've actually gotten a lot of these people on this product, and so I have a pretty extensive experience of what it will actually do. And so I'm going to give you a bit of my feedback from a practitioner standpoint. So first of all, be very transparent. I do sell this product. If you think that makes me not have an accurate review, that's cool. Then on top of that, you should know I actually made quite a bit of money selling this product over the last couple of months and didn't really jump into it to make money. I'll tell you a little bit about my background, why I first was interested in this. I'll go through some basic details on it, then demonstrate a bunch of stuff for you, okay? So my background is I've been in holistic health for about, since about 1994. I'm a certified emotion coded body code practitioner. I've been doing emotion code and body code work, emotion code work, specifically body code work, more recently for about 13 years. I also mentor quite a few practitioners. I've got clients all over the world and as much business as I want. So one of the things though is that, this is a frequency specific microcurrent device. It does two things. It's called Healy. It's a German medical device. It's registered in the US as a class 2 medical device with the FDA for pain, intractable pain, arthritic pain, some other different types of things. If we're in Europe, I could tell you all sorts of additional things that's a certified medical device for, but I'm not in Europe, so I can't tell you. Just the point being is it's got a lot of research on using it as a microcurrent device. In other words, I'm directly connected to it. It sends specific microcurrents to me, and it's something I can feel. This device, however, will do some few extraordinary things on top of that. It has what you call a quantum mirror or a noise generator, and it can operate more on the quantum level. And it can, in doing so, it can scan someone. It can tell them very specifically what frequency they really need and then deliver it. And it can do those scans in person or over distance and deliver not frequency, not microcurrents, but more vibrational therapy. I know. So it deals a lot with frequencies, okay? And everything has a frequency. Love has a frequency. Hate has a frequency. The wood behind me has a frequency. Disease has a frequency. Everything has a specific frequency. And over the years of doing work for people and mentoring people, I've come to find out how vitally important that is. We are a spirit, soul, body, and everything works together. When it works together beautifully, it's beautiful, okay? And what we find is that the wrong frequency provides a discoherent energy in your being, okay? Instead of everything working like this beautifully, right? All the gears start to grind, right? And when you deal with a lot of incoherent energy and frequency, then you're having to do a tremendous amount of additional supplements and therapies and different things to make up for the fact that things aren't working very well, right? And in my practice, I've seen people go from being wheelchair bound and not being able to eat anything but cottage cheese. I worked with a young woman who was in that situation in the fall of last year. And early part of winter, she was back to walking and eating anything she wants. And how do we do that? Providing the right frequency, okay? Figuring out where she's in guilt and shame and all this and changing it. And so I know intimately how well frequency and currents work. But it's difficult to get people to be able to stay in the right frequency for long enough. Sometimes people are very good and proactive, but sometimes they have environments that aren't conducive. Sometimes some people can learn how to muscle test and do a lot of things on their own. A lot of people can't, okay? And when I saw this device and understood what it did, I'm like, I think that this device will allow my clients to use a simple medical device attached to your phone and do much of what I do for them automatically on their own. And that's exactly what I've seen. I'll give you an excellent example. I had a woman whose mother passed away, and it really hit her hard. And we would do sessions together, and she'd get better, she'd get worse, she'd get better and worse. And she decided to buy a device from a friend of mine. And my friend said that this mutual friend of ours was kind of in a, what's really the point kind of energy. Well, that's not good, right? Not good at all. And she used the device for 4 days, up to 120 different programs on here. But you can use it in a very simple, basic way to help establish balance, spirit, soul, and body. And in 4 days, she wrote a note and she said, pain and grief is gone. My joy has returned, and I know exactly what I want to do with my life and to do it. Okay. And really extraordinary. And the results since then, I've literally been directly, indirectly responsible for putting over 1,000 people on this product since May. Okay. It's gone quite viral. And the results are extraordinary. And I'm more and more integrating it into my personal practice because of what it'll do for people. So I want to give you the very basics on it, then I want to demonstrate a little bit to you, okay? So real quick, we will pull up share here real quick. So there are basically 4 different levels, okay? Now, the device itself is the same on all 4 levels, okay? But what you're gonna find is that there's 4 different levels of programming, and well, the first 3 different levels of programming, and the 4th one turns on additional functionality. So the first 3 levels are gold, holistic health plus, about $500, $1,000, $1,500. The gold program has the gold programs from a very famous practitioner called Nuno Nina, and they are a series of balancing programs. Okay, so nothing specifically, just balancing programs. And that, even at the lowest level, these are the core, most used, most helpful programs we have. Okay, so the holistic health has additional, very specific health-related programs, like for things like specific organs or meridians or additional pain programs, all sorts of, you know, if we're focused more on fine-tuning your health, that's also very helpful. The Holistic Health Plus has all of the programs, all 120 programs, because it has an additional, like, what we call lifestyle programs. Like, I want to be more focused on my job, or I want to sleep better, or I want stuff for my skin, or I want to learn better. So different programs like that. The 4th level is what we call the resonance, and the resonance has all of the programs, but it turns on the functionality of the device to scam people. And we're going to go into that real quick here. So let me pull it up for you. All right, first I'll stop sharing on my end, and we'll go down here. So we're going to pull up the device over here, okay? So what you see is my cell phone right here, and we're going to open up the programming here. And you'll notice that there are a couple different programs. The pink program is the program I'm going to use to run all the direct microcurrent programs. So we're going to turn on that real quick. We're going to take this old device, make sure it's on. And we're going to connect it to the device. All right, and we're going to connect it to the device. If you notice on the back of the device, there's a little QWERTY code there. So I'm going to go scan, and I'm going to Just go right on that. It's going to grab the serial number. I'm going to hit connect. All right, so we're connected and it pulls up the last program I was running. But I want to show you the different options here. So you see here the main program here. I've got on this device, I have all the programs available. So Gold Cycle, pain, stimulation, mental balance, all sorts of different things like that. I'll show you for example, the Gold program has things like Pure, it's a detoxing, Being, what kind of be like to have a peace kind of in the middle of everything, and balance, energy. Also different pain ones for, these are probably the most common programs people get really quick results with. And this is pain, local stimulations. Also, some of these programs are actually for mental pain as well. Learning programs, have any kids who need a little bit of focus? Phenomenal help with that here. So different things for fitness, to recover from sporting events, to get stronger. Real help with, for example, activation energy, like you need to get off your butt and work on your business, or your business is exhausting you or very stressful, okay? Additional mental balance programs. Wow, some of the mood improvements with this have been stunning. And that's what I do for a living, is help people improve their mental health, but this has been awesome. So skin issues, skin elasticity. I mean, it's very interesting that you could run a frequency program and see your crazy results with your skin. But we're getting a lot of testimonials with that. So this is more like immune related things, for anything from lungs to liver function, different meridian issues. You can work on your chakras. You can use it to protect yourself from cell phones, from electrosmog, help you sleep, help you be more balanced in certain planetary alignment issues. Everyone's always freaked out about Mercury's in retrograde. Well, we have a program to help you with that, okay? This is more of a deep cycle detoxing program. And the bioenergetic sport, we'll say it's specifically a program designed for the current worldwide environment we see ourselves in, and that's all I'm going to say about that. You can also have time waiver practitioners download programs, and I'll touch briefly on that. The genesis of this product is this. Let me stop sharing here. So a gentleman named Marcus Schmieke developed a company called Time Waiver, and Time Waiver is a company where you have more practitioner level devices that you have to have hooked to a computer, that you have to have extensive training to, and you're going to spend probably $10,000 to $30,000 to become a Time Waiver practitioner. But the developer, the owner of the company, always wanted something simple that the masses could use. Long story short, he developed this. And so for the price point and what it will do, it's absolutely extraordinary. In fact, he himself said that sometimes he feels that people are getting as good, if not better results with this than with the practitioner level programs. He goes, I think it might be because practitioners tend to put labels on people and limit how fast they can get better. And sometimes the average novice running around going, oh, try it. You don't put limitations or expectations on people in terms of how fast they'll heal. So originally, as a practitioner, I like to address the issue of it being sold through network marketing, because somebody will freak out about that. I don't personally, but some people do because they've had some bad experiences. Now, the interesting thing is this device was originally given to the practitioners to sell to their clients, and they didn't very much because it was a conflict of interest. Then they tried to sell it through social media. That didn't work very well either. Then they sold it through network marketing, and it has absolutely exploded. So in my opinion, the most ethical thing to do with a device that's very effective is to make sure that as many people as possible hear about the product and get it in their hands. And that's exactly what we're doing. So I want to go and I want to give you a little bit of demonstration on the resonance level device and what it can do. You know, because as a practitioner, not only just in my own family, but with clients, you know, I work with a lot of people and I need a little bit of extra help and information. And I want to show you how this can do very well with that, right? So I'm going to go back to this device and I'm going to make sure I close out the other program. Oops, I bounced myself off there. 1 second. All right, we're back. And this time we're going to open up the blue dot program right here. Go in here. And there's a couple things we do here, right? So we have a clients, right? I can add a new client in person or over distance simply by tapping on that. Choosing individual, you can do it for your dogs, for people in your family, for organizations, for the tree in your front yard, whatever you really want, right? So if we choose individual, I would put a picture in there from photo gallery or someplace. I would then put in there their full name, date of birth, place of birth. If they were in person, I would have them hold the device themselves and record their vibration. If it's over distance, I make it my intention to do that for them, right? So then they're entered in the system, and I'll go to myself here and give you some demonstrations for me, okay? So there's two different things I can run scans on. I can run scans on for a resonance analysis, and I can select some of the subcategories here, and we'll go over this a little bit, or I can select all the programs and see which programs I have the most resonance with. And I can use that to either run vibrational programs, or I can choose it to figure out which direct microcurrent would be most helpful for me, okay? And I'll give you an example of why that might be helpful. I'm talking about pain, which we can talk about. A young woman had pain in her right hand, like right here. And she ran a scan. And the scan said, work on your lung meridian. And she's like, why do I need to work on my lung meridian? So she ignored it. And she ran a specific pain program. And this specific pain program didn't get rid of the pain. So she goes, okay, well, so she went back and ran the program that the device had told her to run. And when it was done, the pain was gone. And she's like, okay, that's really weird. What is a lung meridian? She didn't know. So she looked on Google and she finds out the lung meridian runs up, then down your arm, and then ends up exactly where the pain was in her hand. She's like, oh. So what you see is the ability for someone who's a complete novice to get into the whole frequency therapy field and use an app that will pick the programs for you and then deliver it. So you have an incredibly empowering for people to do things very quickly and easily on their own. In fact, my sister figured out how to do these remote scans on her own. She's not super technical. And she ran a scan for me between at stoplights in her car, right? So not that hard. So the other thing you can do is you can go into an aura analysis, and we'll do that first. So an aura analysis does auras and chakras, and it gives you a kind of, can give you a snapshot of kind of energetically where you are, what's gone on, and suggestions on where to go. And so if we run the analysis, you see that my overall chakras are pretty good at 83. The root chakra is being a little low, and the throat chakra. So sometimes, for example, when you're doing something like this, it's like, am I gonna mess up? What am I gonna say, right? So I'm gonna be very transparent because sometimes this stuff gets super personal. I'll give you an example. One of my clients called me and she goes, hey, she had a device herself that would do scans. She goes, you're not gonna believe this. I just ran the scan and the device tells me that I need to work on the issues with my strong-willed manipulative mother. She goes, I just got off the phone with my mother and my mother wanted me to do something and I didn't want to do it. But I knew if I said no, she would give me the "you're a bad daughter" vibe. And I called her on her tendency to do that. And she still gave me the "you're a bad daughter" vibe. And then I ran the program, and the program goes, yes, you need to work on your issues with your mom. So we'll get that specific. Yes, it will. Sometimes I'll run scans for people and I'll start reading it. I'll just kind of slide the phone over to them. I'm like, you can read that on your own. I'll send you the PDF. I don't need to know all that stuff, right? So let's see what comes up for me here. All right. So the first one is for the throat chakra. Just helping with issues of communication. Some issues with jealousy. Has a need to give and enjoys giving. That's true. I like doing that as a practitioner. At home, the manipulating and controlling energy is being felt a little bit. We're living in a new place, trying to arrange everything. It can be stressful to move. And my wife wants everything a certain way. Don't do that. But it's not that she's controlling and manipulating it. I'm receiving it that way. Does that make sense? So first I got to work on me and my energy around how I'm handling things. Okay. Tries to be both mother and father. Interesting. All right. So I have options. I can send this PDF to myself or to a client. Remember, I can do this over distance. So sometimes I'm working with a client. I'll do this first with them, okay? So you can kind of get a snapshot of maybe where they are energetically before we do the session. And I'll send that to them. And then I have a choice of, I can run a vibrational program to help heal that. And sometimes I'll run it while we're doing the session, okay? But what I can do is I can muscle test for this vibrational. I'll show you that it gives you a lot of different time options on how long to do it for. And I'll muscle test how long to do it for. So let's just get this reconnected here. All right, we're back. I just had to reconnect the device. And next thing I'm gonna do is choose vibration, and I'm gonna select transmission time. And I would muscle test for how long to do it. So sometimes when I'm working with clients, I'll muscle test, use a fairly long program to run it while we're actually working together. But I'm just gonna do a very short program so you can see what that looks like as it goes through the different programmings here. Boom, and it's done. So the next thing I'm gonna show you is the resonance analysis. So I can, again, we discussed this, I can choose to look at all of the program options and see what might give me the best relief. I'll give you a good example. There was a lot of shipping issues with this initially because it was so popular. And it took me a long time to get mine. And I was very busy with the business and moving across state. And my life was crazy. I was getting up at like 5 without alarm clock and every day over and over and over and over. So I get to my sister's house and she has one and I run a scan. And the first 3 things it says is migraine, tooth and jaw pain, lower back pain, all totally accurate. I did have a little bit of a headache. I need a new crown and I have put my back out from moving. Boom, totally accurate. Then I ran the gold program of relax. And I'm sitting next to my wife while I'm running it. And she looks over at me and she goes, I just felt you relax. She goes, I've been trying to do that to you for weeks. And I ran the program again the next day. And the only thing I can say is like, it's like I got hit by the relax bus. I was like, bam, totally asleep on my sister's patio, like snoring out loud. That's what I really needed because I had been so jacked up on adrenaline for so long. So you see, I've got a couple different options here. The Healy fitness program is the one that comes up. There's something under biogenic 1 that might be helpful for me, mental balance. Now I can choose to send this to myself or to a client as a PDF. Maybe they have their own device and they need to know which programs to run. Or I can vibrate that on myself. Or I can say, hey, I want to do a direct microcurrent program. I wonder what it is under the Healy Fitness that would be most helpful for me. So I'm going to go into back into the resonance analysis. Go back to pick myself again, database. We're going to go down here to the fitness programs, and I'm going to start the analysis on the fitness programs. And it says muscle. Interesting. To help build more muscle. I like that program. So I can also maybe choose to say, hey, you know, typically I run 1 or 2 gold programs a day. So I'm like, okay, of the gold programs, which one would be most helpful to run for me right now? And I get care. Okay, care, pure is a detoxing one. Or if I'm working with a client, here's one of the cooler things you can do. Okay, we'll go to the bottom, come back up. There we go. I'm going to go to the Bach flower remedy one. Okay, so Bach flower remedies are more of an energetic medicine. And this is going to scan me for all the different Bach flowers, which are most appropriate to me. In doing so, it gives you very interesting insight into a person's emotional state. It recommends the Bach flower to use. It also, underneath there, recommends often the essential oil to use, super helpful. So you can just run the scan instead of somehow trying to develop encyclopedic knowledge of essential oils and flower remedies. And you can also choose to have it deliver the program vibrationally for you, right? So today I did another scan for a client, and the same one came up as it had before on a very high resonance, so very high need for it. And we're like, this one came up last time too. She goes, yeah, she goes, I'm like, you should probably actually really get that essence, flower essence, and maybe the essential oil, make sure you use it because this keeps coming up for you. So very good insight for her, okay? And the emotional stuff that comes up could provide me as a practitioner insight on, oh, here's one of the top issues my clients need to work on. And maybe as an emotion code and body code practitioner, I could target that. So that's what comes here. Burden of escape into daydreams and fantasies, and the resulting absent-mindedness and mental absence are balanced. So guess what I'm doing tomorrow? I'm hiring my own personal life coach to keep me focused. So, is that accurate? Yes, it's accurate. Okay. So number 2, the burden of lack of confidence in the inner voice and opinion is balanced. Yeah, you know, it's like doing videos like this, you know, getting into arguments with family members. Anyone in the house have some arguments with family members about politics and different stuff these days? Yes. The burden of unexplained vague fears and premonitions. You know, I may look like a totally chill dude, but I often have, I've had to discipline my tendency to worry, you know, like I work for myself. I don't exactly know what I'll make. Sometimes in the back of my head, I'm like, I wonder if I'll actually be able to pay my rent this month. I'm like, I have not had a problem paying my rent in like decades, many years. Why would I have a problem this month? I don't know. I just make stuff up like that, right? And this is an interesting one, comes up a lot for people, the burden of hiding worries and problems behind a mask of gaiety. In other words, I have a very large team. I have a family. I've got clients I always look to. So I've got to keep my you-know-what together, right? And so that can be a little bit of work. So now, interesting, you see here that it also lists the flower and the essential oil for all of these. So I could both use the vibration, right? Because I can go down here and I can click on the vibration and I can choose the transmission time and use the flower essence and use the essential oil if I want to, and maybe do some additional energetic work around one of the main things that's come up, right? So I want to show you a few other things that are very helpful for me as a practitioner, right? So one of the big things is nutritional needs for people, okay? And the most important thing you need to take nutritionally is the one you need. So that may seem obvious, but I've got like cabinet full of supplements. Which one do I use? Now, I know how to muscle test, so I could do that. But sometimes it's like you don't get around to it, right? A lot of people don't know how to muscle test. So they don't know what they're actually lacking in their diet or what they're not absorbing, right? So I can go in here and it's listed as amino acids, but it's not really amino, it's just general nutrients, right? This also can be very helpful if you're doing, like say, a particular type of diet, like ketogenic diet, okay? Ketogenic diet is amazing, but it requires, it can be amazing, but you got to be spot on some nutrients, especially minerals, okay? And if you're not on top of it on minerals, it's a big deal. Another thing I've seen with this is coming up as high need for more omega-3 fatty acids, which is huge because if you're not getting enough omega-3s, like everything goes to crap, okay? Mental health, balancing hormones, everything. So when that comes up, it's a huge indicator. Now you can deliver that vibrationally, or it's like, hey, wow, I think I will go take more fish oil or more vitamin D or muscle test myself for how much, or also do the vibrations. So interesting. The first thing that comes up is doco something phenolic acid. I have no idea what that is, but it might be helpful if I look that up. It might give me an insight on what it works well for. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm kind of dealing with that lately, and give me a very targeted solution to help my problem. So vitamin D, vitamin B7, I'm having a lot of B7 come up. I think I will probably be more diligent in taking a really good B complex, okay? Selenium. So again, I can run that vibrationally for myself. I can go in and I can send someone the PDF of that as well. And so you have a lot of different options that you can do, okay? Anyways, a couple other things I want to share with you. One of the things I want to share with you is I deal a lot of times with clients who have adrenal exhaustion, and it is very challenging for them to not push themselves and trash their margins and their health, right? Because they want to go, 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 go. And they keep going till they run themselves into the ground. Now, this Healy watch right here is going to be a huge asset for my clients, and I want to show you why. So if I pull up the watch, you'll notice down here I can track a lot of data with it. I can track sleep and tons of different things. It will tell me based on a meridian clock if I want to run a specific program. Hey, this time of day, guess what? Small intestine is the one to run. It will also give me general suggestions and specific suggestions for programs to run to help me, okay? So for example, it's telling me, hey, you need to run some maybe a little heart rate variability would help you. Now, so what is a heart rate variability? A heart rate variability is a snapshot of stress, okay? So what I would do is I'd go in here and I'd choose how long a test I want to run for. And then it's going to remind me to place one of my fingers on top here and make sure that we've got a really good connection. And it's going to do that while it very specifically measures heart rate variability, which is a phenomenal measurement of stress, okay? And a lot of people who are stressed out, one thing they do like is they like biometrics. They like to score a certain way, okay? And what this does is it gives people the option to kind of keep track of their score of stress, and anything you actually test will improve it, okay? So we see right now it's giving me a heart rate variability of about 50. And when it's done, it would show me, I'm not gonna take the time to finish that all the way, but when it's done, it would give me a scale for my age and everything. How does that number compare? So, right, so it gives me a little bit of a snapshot of that. And if I look at my health and I scroll down, I can see heart rate variability normal. Earlier this morning, it was pretty good, partially because I'm doing this in the middle of it and I'm not really relaxed. Also can give me a stress score, all right? Other things that this device can do is there is an additional program in here, and there's a couple options. You're going to see my programs aren't turned on yet, but this Heal Advisor program is a program, say for example, I have a client who has a particular condition. I can type that condition in here and it will spit out a long protocol of here's what programs to use for how long. And it's developed by practitioners, and they're constantly taking information from the field, seeing how people do and improving the recommendations to it. So I can put in their health conditions or symptoms. Also down here is a digital nutrition app, and I can use this app. It's a subscription. Both these are subscriptions. I can use this subscription for up to 5 people in my family to scan them every day for what nutrients they need. It will then optimize their body to actually use it if it's something they need from the outside, okay? Because a lot of times it's not a matter of that I'm not eating properly, it's I'm not absorbing it. Number 2, if it's an endogenous, in other words, something like glutathione, which your body makes, it can encourage your body to do it. And then it can also give recommendations on what food to eat that would optimize it. So super cool stuff. Anyways, that's kind of the basics so far. I've been extremely impressed with it. The issues that you probably will have right now is the company did a world record amount of business. Okay, the company was doing about $5 million in business before they hit the US. First month they did, I believe 9 or 11. I think the adjusted number is $11 million in business for May. Boom. Guess what? They're in a bit of an issue getting the product out in time because it's combined with that and COVID-related transportation issues because the device has a battery in it, so you can only fly so many on a certain type of plane. It gets very complicated. That, and naturally, it's a bit of a finicky device. Does that make sense? What this device does is extraordinary. So sometimes it's little hiccups like, oh, wait, I got to reset it. It's not doing this right. And you can always work through the problems, but sometimes it's a little frustrating. So that's another thing to keep in mind because customer service is very hard to get a hold of, just being very transparent. That's all going to change. So if you're someone who's like, I can't handle any headaches at all in my life, hey, wait till September, then order, okay? Because the sale's over. You missed that, right? So just wait till September. You'll get the product in time. It'll work. You'll be able to get a hold of customer service. If you're someone who doesn't just want to use a product and help other people with it, but maybe you see a bit of a business opportunity, it's well worth the time to do it now, okay? I've actually taken my practice. I used to see about 25, 30 people a month, and I slashed my coaching availability to about 8 open time slots because I'm busy doing this and I don't need to work that hard anymore. Anyways, I like it. It's all right to enjoy life. So anyways, hope this has been helpful for you. It's a bit long, but I wanted to give you a bit of my perspective. Especially I'm going to share this on some of the energy healing groups because I've seen people talk about it and ask questions, and I wanted to do something super thorough. If someone's already told you about this and you're interested, go back, talk to that person. If this is the first time you're hearing about it and you'd like more information, feel free to reach out to me, Facebook Messenger, by email, anything. Happy to chat with you.